This is the interface we have for LabsLand when you sign up for Engineering 105, and you can see our two different projects that you can work on. This is for our final project, and this is for our Arduino Lab 2. So let's go to Arduino Lab 2. And there are some examples and practices here, but we will just use the access button to freely modify it. So now we have a similar interface to the one we had in Tinkercad, except the shapes are a bit different, and we have a C code automatically generated on the right that you can compare and keep track, but you don't need to understand what they're doing right now for the purposes of this course. But the interface for the blocks are almost the same as Tinkercad. It should be intuitive to understand, and there shouldn't be a problem understanding this if you have a understanding of the Tinkercad blocks. So as you can see, there is a Arduino run first and loop forever block here. So this whole thing is the main program, and this is the part that runs first and only once, and this is the part that repeats indefinitely unless the Arduino is powered off. And here I have defined two functions. Functions are basically some bunch of code just wrapped in a under a name, so that you can just call this name instead of writing all of these into here again and again. So as you can see, in the case where button 1, which is read from pin 13, is pressed, I will go and start blinking red, and that in turn will blink the red LED twice. And similarly, we do that button 2 reads port 12 and blinks green accordingly. These are just extra tiles that we don't need. And let's compile. The first step is to verify and compile so that we see that there are no logical issues and everything is clear before we can upload it into a physical Arduino. So it says successfully verified and compiled, so we can go and say upload. So we upload. And now we have exactly 2 minutes to try out our code, but don't worry, we can go in, reserve a time whenever you want, but these are time slots that are assigned when you request them. And for 2 minutes you can program your code into Arduino, and once it's programmed, it should be able to have the functionality you have designed it to have. So I have designed it to have the buttons 1 and 2 as the controlling LEDs, as the controlling buttons, and they will in turn light up this LED blinking red or green. So let's see, this should blink the red LED twice. There's some delay with the video right now, but this is not the case normally, but you can see that the red LED is turning on, and similarly the green LED should also turn on like this. And there are other things that you can do on this lab. There are switches and potentiometers that you can use like we did on Tinkercad, and this way you can test out your circuit, and if necessary you can leave, modify your code and do it again. One last thing to remind is there are export and import buttons here, which you should use in case your work is not saved on LabsLand. It automatically saves and lets you continue from where you left off, but in case it doesn't, we recommend always export your code and import whenever it is not actually saved. And that is it with LabsLand. Good luck.